everybody, welcome back to a new video. In today's video, I'm going to go over some of the items that have gone limited in the last few weeks, as I have not been here, so I wasn't able to make a video on them when they did go limited, but I'm back now so I can go over some of the things that went limited, see how they've done for the few weeks or days they've been limited, and some predictions on how they might do in the future, and maybe some predictions on what else could go limited as well. So last time I left off, the last video I made was this Frozen Sword Pack going limited and the Story Sleeping Calf going off sale, but after a week after it went off sale, it did end up going limited, and now you can actually buy it as limited items. So pretty cool. It did follow the trend that we've seen of a popular item going off sale and then going limited afterwards. It's a pretty nice looking item. It's selling for around expected price for a lot of these on sale popular items. It definitely looks pretty cool. It has around 100,000 owners, which is pretty nice, and it's definitely a pretty nice item if you do want to get it, and definitely reminds you of that midnight sale kind of look to it. So definitely a pretty cool item. Next, we did get some sponsor items, as they do typically start pretty high. They don't do that well right afterwards, and they're all selling below the original price, which is pretty unfortunate, but we did get some other items here. And this is the start of a new pattern. They typically go in waves of what they do, as we've seen with the last few waves weeks before. They chose popular on sale items, and now this new wave is then choosing just kind of random off sale items. Not really popular, they're just kind of choosing random things. So first up, right over here we have Bombastic antlers. A part of the popular antler series has that regular antler mesh to it. Looks pretty cool. It's doing alright. It was originally 7,500 and it returned a couple of sales, and it looks pretty cool, but it's definitely not doing as well as it could, and that is actually the case with a lot of limiteds right now. A lot of limiteds have been dropping as Roblox has kind of made a lot of new items limited, so it's expected that they are not going to do as well as they could, but over time I can definitely see this item doing pretty well. It does only have 1,000 owners and probably even less that actually have premium, so definitely a pretty cool one to get your hands on if you don't actually have it right now, and I can't wait to see what other antlers they do actually make limited. Next up right over here we do have Zipper Cap. It's actually the start of a trend that we're going to see with them kind of making very cheap Tix items limited, which is pretty cool. As Tix was removed in 2016, they did actually take off sale a lot of Tix items, and some of these are pretty affordable. Some of them are actually you're able to get for free if you just say enough Tix for them, so definitely pretty cool. Zipper Cap got over 600,000 owners, so definitely not going to be the most expensive item, but it looks pretty nice. It has some little zippers over there, and it was a cheap Tix item back in the day, so definitely a very nice cap, and you're able to make a nice little profit off of it if you did get it originally. Next over here we have lime glasses. This actually was a sponsored item. As you can see, it was made for American Girl, which is this kind of doll brand they do have in the United States, and it is pretty cool. It was cheap and affordable once again, over 300,000 owners, and it was available for a limited time while the sponsorship lasted. It looks pretty nice, but it just looks like your typical glasses, so probably will not do that great over time. Next up over here we did get an event item. This was free for Halloween 2018, and we've already seen one of these go limited. The spider antlers went limited a few weeks ago from the same event, and they were also free, so we see some pattern with that event having a lot of popular choices to go limited, so who knows, maybe something from that event will go limited soon as well. This is a pretty nice item, but once again, as it was free, it's not going to do that great. It's selling for around 300, which is kind of expected for a free item, but it's still pretty nice. And for those that don't actually have that much Robux and you were just able to play this back in the day, now you're able to make a nice profit off of it. This is now. It does have over 1 million owners though, so probably don't expect it to go high anytime soon. Next we do have this green top hat with a white band. This was one of the few actual off sale top hats that we do have. It was 5,000 Robux originally. It was available for a few days before going off sale, and it got around 1,600 owners, which is not that much. And it's actually doing better than Bombastic antlers despite having more owners, and also despite having a cheaper starting price, which is pretty interesting. It just looked pretty cool. There is a similar one which is blue, so that one might go limited soon as well. It does look pretty nice. I think it might do pretty well over time, as these top hats definitely do have quite a lot of demand with them, so definitely a pretty nice choice for them to make limited. And next up right over here, this is kind of the start of a trend that we're going to see a lot, with them kind of choosing rare off sale items which are actually quite old. So they aren't actually recent. Most of these are actually pretty old, 2016 and before. A lot of these are actually from 2013. This is a rock and roll necktie. It only got around 300 owners, and as this is almost a decade old, a lot of those probably don't have premium anymore, so it's definitely gonna be a pretty hard item to find. It's sold 3 times actually, 50,000, 70,000, 75,000, so definitely a pretty expensive item, and definitely gonna be one that a lot of expensive traders are gonna go for. It definitely looks pretty cool, and if you didn't own it originally, this is definitely a huge profit to go on now. Next up over here we do an infinity baseball cap, kind of similar story to rock and roll necktie. It is an older item, not that many sales, only around 1,000, and it's definitely gonna do pretty well. You're definitely able to make a nice profit of this one. Definitely looks pretty cool. Has a little infinity symbol right over here. It's selling for around 20,000. Some sellers are above that as well, and it's sold a couple of times around 50,000 up to 30,000. So definitely pretty cool little item. Next we did get a sponsor item, but it's not doing the best right now. We did get 3 other off sale items that did return. We do have this purple and white sleepy cap, so similar story to the other sleepy cap that went limited. This actually looks the same but just flipped around, so it's pretty cool. It was an off sale item, got around 2,600 owners, and it's doing alright. A little little bit over 2,000, so definitely able to make a nice profit of this one, and definitely a pretty cool one to have a nice outfit with. And next up right over here we do have Rainbow. This was a gift card item originally, but it did release during a Black Friday sale 2016 for a few hundred Robux, and it got around 1,000 sales when it did return, but it did have around 2,000 owners when it was a gift card item. So together it has around 3,000 owners, so pretty cool item. It's part of that BOA series, which we did see wouldn't go off sale recently, and as they did make that sleepy cap that was off sale limited, they could go back to some of the other ones they took off sale right over here and make them limited. So Thug Bandana, Green Boa, Flatwood Turtle Hood, Cool Bunny, Lightning Crown, and Restless Souls Bandana. These are some choices that I think that they could do limited if they do want to. This is definitely going to do pretty well. It looks pretty nice and much better than the original price, so you definitely want to make a nice profit out of this one right now. Next up we do have Recycled Cardboard Top Hat. This is a pretty cool one. Only got around 700 sales, so definitely a pretty rare item. It's definitely doing pretty good. After a few sales, it actually goes up to 100,000, so definitely pretty rare item, and definitely one that will do well. Top Hat's definitely could do well. Even though this is a recycled item, still has a nice look to it, and you can definitely make a nice outfit with other recycled items. So next up we did see this White Unicorn Helm, Toxic Urchin, and Scrap Metal Cap go limited as well. This White Unicorn Helm is actually something I owned. It was from a Black Friday sale in 2017. It was only 100 Robux, which probably explains why it's not doing the best right now. There was a black variant as well, so that might go limited sometime later on, but this does look pretty cool. It's a nice, really creative looking helmet, and it's pretty cool. It has around 8,000 owners. It's doing alright. Probably will reach 1,000 soon, but unfortunately I'm not doing the best as it was pretty affordable and it has a lot of owners. Next up, Toxic Urchin. This is also a pretty cool one. I definitely like this one. A lot of people don't actually like it because it is kind of that weird style which is hard to match with, but I do enjoy it. It only has around 2,000 owners, and it was an older item that went off sale. It's definitely pretty cool, and if you were able to get it, you were definitely able to make a nice profit, and after a few sales it does go up quite a few thousand, so definitely not bad. Now we have Scrap Metal Cap, which is also a pretty rare item. It was limited time item available for a few days or weeks, and it ended up going off sale with only 165 owners, which is probably because it doesn't look the greatest, because it is kind of that recycled theme once again, but it does look pretty cool. It sold for 80,000, which is pretty expensive, and that was the only sale so far, but it does have one sale under that for a little bit less, so it might sell soon, but it's definitely going to be a pretty expensive rare item to get in the future. Next up we do Roblox Camel Cap, Pirate Chicken, and the Fire Crown. Roblox Camel Cap is a pretty cool one, similar to a lot of the other items we went over. It was a cheap Tix item back in the day, and it went off sale, and it has the old Roblox logo on it, which a lot of people do prefer. It does look pretty cool. You can get it for around 600 right now, which is actually pretty high in comparison to a lot of the other items that were around the same price. Next up we did Pirate Chicken. Kind of a weird choice, but it does make sense at the same time. It's kind of a similar story to Rainbow, as it was a gift card item for a month, and then it returned in a sale for a few Robux, which it did end up selling for 100 times when it's a return, but altogether it has a couple thousand owners. But it looks pretty cool. It's definitely going to be pretty expensive as it is an older item, and also it does not have the greatest looks, which means a lot of people don't actually buy it or redeem it, but it still looks pretty nice. You can definitely get it for a couple thousand if you do want to get this item. Next up we do have the Fire Crown, which is basically a fire version of the Ice Crown, which is a popular limited series. It's very expensive, worth millions, and this one is probably going to also be worth over $1 million. It did sell 2 times for around 500,000, but it has 81 owners only, so definitely a pretty rare item, and the next best price is already $1 million, so definitely going to be a pretty hard item to get, but it looks pretty good. It was originally 25,000, so if you're able to get it, you are able to make a nice profit on this one. Next up right over here we do have Blue Knit Beanie. This is another off sale one, kind of another random choice. We do have this one. It's a pretty cool looking beanie, has a nice little pattern on the bottom. It's doing alright, around 5,000, which is actually pretty high for a beanie, which is pretty cool. It has around 3,000 owners as well, so definitely a pretty nice one, and this is definitely going to be one that other people are actually going to enjoy. So definitely a nice beanie to get if you do have a lot of money to spare. Next up we do Steampunk Headphones. Similar story once again to Pirate Chicken and Rainbow. Was the gift card item originally, returned in a sale, and now it's limited. So that is a pattern we're seeing a lot. So if there was a gift card item that returned in a sale, there is a good chance that it might go limited sometime in the future. And these look pretty cool. There are different kind of variants of these. I think they're called Green Punk Headphones, which are still on sale. So this is not that bad. It's doing alright, 1,500, but obviously it doesn't look the greatest, which is probably why it's not doing the best, but it's still profitable if you're able to get it, and it's definitely a nice little item to have. Next up we do have Yellow Sleep Owl. This is a pretty cool one. We do have this Sleepy Owl series, which was another little sleepy animal series that they do in the midnight sales. This was one of the older ones, and it's pretty cool that it made it limited. It's unfortunately not doing well. A lot of these animals in this series don't do well. As we've seen, the Sleepy Sloth returned is not doing the greatest, but this one still is profitable, so if you're able to get it, you were definitely able to make a nice profit of this one. Next up we do have Snow Leopard Fedora's Recycled Wings and Blue Sparkle Time Bowler. Snow Leopard Fedora was similar case to the sleepy cap went off sale as it was a popular on sale item, but then they made it limited. So pretty interesting, they're picking items that they took off sale from that wave. So once again, that wave is definitely one to keep an eye out for. This one is doing alright, 500 Robux as kind of expected, has a lot of owners, but it does look really good. So I think over time it's definitely going to be one of the higher demand items that are pretty affordable, so definitely not that bad. Next up, recycled wings. This was an Earth Day item for 2017. I think it was only around 300 Robux, so definitely a pretty affordable item. And it's doing alright, it has a little over 1,000 price, which makes sense. It does have quite a lot of owners, but it is wings, and wings just typically do better as limiteds. So this is definitely one that I think will do better over time. After a few of these lower sales do go away, it does go up to 2,000 pretty fast, so definitely a pretty nice item. Next up, we do blue Sparkle Time Bowlers. Pretty rare item once again, only 270 owners. It was originally 5,000 Robux for a few hours, and it went off sale, and it's pretty old, probably about 6 years old, so definitely not one of the more recent ones. It's doing alright, over 100,000, which is pretty good for a bowler, honestly, because the bowlers are typically not what people do enjoy that much, but it is a Sparkle Time item, which also makes sense for why it is doing well. We do have a couple sales while over here around the 80,000 area, so that is what I would expect it to sell for in the future as well. But definitely a pretty nice item. If you didn't want originally, you can definitely make a spot off it now. In the last row right over here, we do have 5 items that went limited. This one was a sponsored item that they did put on sale for a limited time, and they're going to be 4 more that are releasing in the next few days as well. First up, we do have Black Cat Scarf. This was a Friday the 13th item in 2018. It looks pretty cool. It was pretty affordable, I think, on 30 Robux, so you're definitely able to make a nice profit of it now. And it's actually, I think, one of the first scarves that we've seen go limited from this recent limited wave that started this year, so pretty cool. It's doing around 1,000 Robux, which is probably expected. It has quite a lot of owners, so might take a while before it does go up in price, but it still looks pretty nice and definitely one of the better looking scarves in my opinion. Next up, we do Bombastic Clockwork shades. Clockwork shades have been asked for, the work clock ones, the white ones, to go limited for a very long time, and they made these Bombastic ones limited. There are still the 3 other offset ones, which are also around the similar rarity. These haven't sold yet, but they might soon for this price. They're selling for hundreds of thousands. They're going to be worth millions. That is expected with these kind of high demand rare items, so definitely going to be one to keep an eye out for. And if you do own it, this is going to be a very big profit for you. Next up, we did actually get an egg. This is actually the first egg to go limited in over 5 years, which is pretty crazy, so this is definitely a pretty cool one. Similar case to the spider headphones. It was an event item, so it's basically free. If you just play the game and you did the mission, you were able to get this item. It has over 4 million owners, so definitely not one that's going to do great over time. Probably going to be one of the cheaper items on the limited catalog, probably forever, but it still looks pretty nice, and if you play it for free, you're able to make a nice profit. And it's also one of the more recent event items, 2020 event, so definitely a pretty cool one. So if you played recently, you were able to make a nice limited profit. Next up, we do this crazy spiked hood, which is pretty interesting. I don't actually know the price. It was originally probably around 300, and it only got around 500 sales, so a very rare item. As you can see, over the first sale goes to 100,000, so pretty big jump. Sold a couple times around the 40,000 range, so definitely a pretty rare item, definitely gonna be pretty expensive. It does look pretty cool and unique as well. Has these big spikes. It can definitely make a pretty nice scary outfit with this one, so definitely not that bad. And the last limited so far is this other egg from a 2010 egg hunt, which is pretty cool. Rusty Egg and Magnetism. It definitely looks alright. It's basically just a brown color, so if you do like it, it is actually doing pretty well. A lot of these older eggs are going to do pretty well, as a lot of the owners are actually not active anymore, and this is over a decade old, 12 years old, so definitely a pretty cool one if you're able to get it, and you definitely make a nice profit now. So yeah, those were the limits I received over the few weeks I was gone. I will continue to update on new limiteds daily as I am back, but yeah, definitely pretty cool things that they have made limited, and I can't wait to see what else they do make limited in the next upcoming days. But yeah, that is pretty much this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.